Hello guys, Omni here. We got another honest trailer from Screen Junkies this week, and it just seems like since the quarantine went around, they're just doing things that fall right in line with a lot of the stuff we talk about. And that is this week's honest trailer, which is for Birds of Prey. And if you don't know, I have reviewed the film. I honestly really enjoyed it. I was really surprised. The trailers I did not think looked that great or sold it all that well. And I think overall, a lot of the performance can be attributed to, of course, the unnecessary rated R rating. But I digress. I enjoyed the movie, and I'm curious to see what their thoughts are on it. But I know a lot of the people that make these trailers did enjoy it. At least I think it was more of a 50-50 line between some of the writers on this. But let's check it out and see what they have for us and see what comments we can bring to the table after the fact. Here we go.
Are you stuck indoors like the rest of us, wondering how you can help? Click the link below to support Direct Relief. They provide personal protective equipment and essential medical items to health workers responding to coronavirus. Please do your part and give what you can.
I also suggest that as well. I'll provide a link to that in the bottom of the description.
Where Warner Brothers wishes Jared Leto never existed. In fact, where all of Suicide Squad was a lie. Forget it ever happened. The one part you liked about the film has been plucked from an early grave and given her own squad. Just don't let her do the tattoos this time.
You spelled a tattoo wrong.
I was writing a word and I spelt it wrong.
A good time to be pretty.
Birds of Prey and I'm not reading that part.
That's a little bit of a burn there, but I don't know.
Meet the new Harley Quinn.
Eventually.
A lot of people in this city want me dead.
Any minute now.
The perfect egg sandwich.
Dude, I never wanted an egg sandwich more in my life.
After a breakup with Jared Leto's
Than that.
She's out to prove she's more than just a lady joker. So she's forming her own criminal gang, but not taking it seriously, while cracking jokes in clown makeup and using goofy weapons to fight a rich guy dressed in black. This doesn't really seem like much of an emancipation to me. More of a sparkly do-over that's not very scrumptious-lessened. Not even webtubulas if you ask me. Explore Gotham City like you've never seen it before. In the daylight.
Yeah.
Weird.
I like that, and it is also very strange.
Homicidal trust fund kid in blackface. I mean black mask, but also blackface.
I got it when I was embedded with the Ngami tribe in Congo, Kinshasa.
Ewan McGregor shines as the
I
owner of the
freaking
world's
loved
worst
him,
club
though.
to hang out at.
Get on that.
In that way that you hate terrible, you just love to hate
Blends the
villains.
lines between sadistic mob boss, bro culture avatar, and just gay enough to hope it slides past the censors in China.
So are you guys gay in the movie?
It's very the relationships is very much based in there's a want and a need in there for sure.
Yeah, it was very much an undertone, but
performance that'll get ripped on for decades because he's different than the guy in the comics. Really looking forward to hearing about this and the Mandarin until the sun explodes. Gathered to stop him.
I wouldn't call those the same thing.
This is our story.
Almost. Can we just fast forward to them teaming up?
We're gonna have to work together.
Holy
There we
crap.
go. There's
Yeah,
Huntress,
it
a
w-
realistic portrayal of how awkward an orphan who trained to become a murder hobo would actually be.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who
She
I
was
am?
my favorite thing about the movie, to be honest.
Kid.
Sorry, kid.
Hey, kid!
Keep the kid alive.
Price on the kid's head. You've got the wrong kid. Come on, kid. Kid. Kid.
Like I said in my review, she was pretty much just a plot
Montoya,
device.
A cop with a special power to... Okay, she's just a cop. And Black Canary. She sings really loud and, kicks good and stuff. I'm just saying, I know more about Katana than these ladies. And I only know 4 things about Katana. 1,
This is Katana.
2,
She's got my back.
3,
I would advise not getting killed by her.
and 4.
Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
DC does not stand for developed characters.
Uh,
So suit up for an R-rated ride that's more Bugs Bunny than Batman.
Toss that for me, will you?
yeah.
But
I love
combines a
DC,
great
but
cast with
you're
awesome
right.
Fight sequences to make this hot topic version of Beyonce's Lemonade that will thrill and delight your inner teenager. But since it's rated R for no good reason, went unseen by actual teenagers. Guess you couldn't
This
tell
is
the
what
story
I'm
right
saying.
without turning that guy's leg into spaghetti.
I mean, I liked it. I liked that, but
Starring
it didn't warrant the rating.
Dr. Quinn, offer medicine woman. Hello, my name is Renee Montoya. You stole my promotion. Prepare to die. Obi-Wan
That was her
Kenobi,
whole arc,
Sonic
man.
Boom, Ramona Glowers,
Dude, Ramona.
Scar Tissue that I'll make you saw. The hottest nightclub in Gotham is the Black Mass Club. This place has everything. Broken legs, sad lounge singers, a single narrow room with no dance floor, and the scared Erica. It's the thing when your name is Erica, and the creepy owner of the club makes you get on a table and dance to the music. Always DA Maybe, Dr. Marvin Candle, Joe Exotic 2020, and Jared Leto.
You don't know who that is? Well, sounds like a dick.
Insane Clowns Posse.
That could also be another P word.
That is why you should never partake in paying federal income
Sorry.
taxes.
Whoa, Harley doesn't pay taxes and voted for Bernie? Now that's some Joker stuff. Thanks for watching.
Dude,
And once again, please
I like that. I like that enough. I'm really surprised they didn't say anything about the change of the title that the theaters all decided to do on their own 1 week within its release, to change it to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, which honestly I think should have, I know they wanted to go for the like glamorous Harley-ish kind of story, but if they wanted to keep it like that, it was very misleading to title it Birds of Prey. And I don't think a lot of people that know what's going on, know the film world, like all this stuff, like where I kind of keep up with all this news, the rumors, the trailers and stuff like that. We are in the know. We know better. We know this is really a Harley Quinn movie. I don't think people outside of that general public knew that going into it and saw Birds of Prey, of course. And I was like, the heck is that? Who are they? Harley Quinn's supposedly in this, I guess. So I don't know. I think that paired with a very small amount of preconceived notions surrounding what the movie would be before it came out, as well as the rating, had a lot of contributing factors. I'm no analyst. I'm not saying anything that I think is even remotely true, but that's just my guess. That's my take on it. I can see how those things could have affected it, because it honestly, aside from a couple, I can't think of anything except for some of the club scenes with Sionis that really needed to be pushed to R. I know there was the Erica scene in particular was something that Kathy Yan had fought for to be included in that. They were trying to like, I don't know, you're kind of skirting the line here with this. It's really uncomfortable. I think that's a really important scene. I don't know if that scene necessarily contributed to the rating in general, but I don't think a lot of the gore, a lot of the other things like the swearing, the hyper violence and stuff like that. And the violence is very minimal as far as like gore and how over the top some of it even gets, aside from like one or two scenes. So I don't know. I don't feel like it needed to be rated R, whereas like something like Joker did. I just feel like there was some choices, and I don't know if to keep that scene they had to keep it rated R or how that all played into it, because it rode that line. But I really like that. And then like the comparison that they had between, you know, people ripping on this for till the end of time because the character's not comic book accurate. I haven't heard anyone really complain. I'm sure there's some people out there for sure, but even in my circles, I haven't heard anybody complain about this portrayal of Black Mask. I really liked it. I think Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job bringing that performance to life and giving it this own little spin on it. And I thought it fit and in spirit with the character in a lot of ways, went tied in. He was very much greed-centered. He's very much hyper narcissistic. You know, even the version of him in the comics, they just kind of took a little spin on it, had some liberties with it, and I think they did a lot of fun with it. I think what pissed people off a lot about the Mandarin reveal was that we're built up to finally getting this live action Mandarin, and we're built up. We're seeing Ben Kingsley and all this garb, and we're waiting for the Mandarin. And it's not even that it's a different Mandarin. It was a bait and switch. It wasn't the Mandarin at all. So it's not really the same thing. They didn't twist the character and change something up about it. They just dangled it in there and then was just like, nah, it's actually that business guy with laser hands. And that's what I think bothered a lot of people the most. Honestly, that's one of the things that gripes me the most about that movie. And I have a whole other tangent about how they could have worked the actual Mandarin into the PTSD storyline they were going with, and it worked. I also get what they were doing with it, with like propaganda, with this misdirection and stuff like that. I get the themes that they were trying to go through, but I feel like using the Mandarin might have been the wrong approach. Again, I'm not a writer, but honestly, I was one of those people. Definitely, I've lessened on it over time. It is still, out of the Iron Man movies, the thing I hate the most about all three of them is that reveal. But that's a whole other topic, and we talk about in the comments. We can talk about that in another video. But I really enjoyed Birds of Prey. I hope in VOD and Blu-ray sales it really picks up. I really thought that a lot of the preconceived notions about what it was going to be were very much overplayed. It was not. Of course, there is an undertone of empowerment to it, but it is not at the deprecation of anybody else, unless you really read into it even farther than that. I think a lot of people had some egos that needed to be checked going into this because the movie's fun, and it's very much, I think it is feminism done right, in my opinion, as opposed to some things like the Ghostbusters movie, which was completely the other way and forced and doesn't fit in at all. And I think they had a great balance of it here, and I think this is the way it should have been done. But I think people are so guarded about this kind of stuff now, agendas being driven into their films, that there is a subsection of people that didn't see it literally just because of that, as some sort of statement. Then of course, I think like the people that like Harley Quinn the most are going to be younger people. So focusing it around this character in this kind of kooky kind of way, with this kind of tone that they go for, and the character in general is a lot more popular among younger audiences. So I think that cutting it off to that, like they said in this, like I think that was a big drawback to it. But I thought this was funny. They took some swings at it that I really did enjoy. Gotham during the daytime, comparing it to her still being kind of just like the Joker, and Sionis being her Batman, was a good little play on words, and really smart to kind of put that together. I like the Renee Montoya jokes, and I do like Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this film was my favorite parts. I think that what they did with Huntress was really interesting, and I really want more of the Birds of Prey. And like, I'm curious to see with how things are in the state of this, where DC is in the state of things, especially after what's going on with this Ezra Miller stuff. That I'm curious to see what's going to happen here, and how because they are very reactionary, and I don't know how they're going to handle the future of these series, these movies. I was going to say shows, with the box office performance of Birds of Prey. I've heard it's getting a little bit of a boost in the on the video on demand sales, so maybe there's some hope there. There's some talk with Kathy on about what can follow this with Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, which would be something I'd like to see. I know a lot of people would like to see. I think there's definitely an avenue and a lesson to be learned from it. But I don't think by any means that Warner Brothers needs to back off with what this is. I want to see I want to see the Birds of Prey come back. I want to dive more into those characters. I really wish they fleshed out more about Black Canary and Huntress, because their stories were really interesting, and I wanted to hear more of that. I'd love even like maybe even like a background origin on Black Canary and what happened with her mother. You can center it around the original Black Canary. And I like how they tied that in. It was very true with the primary canon for the character. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I liked this movie. I thought it was a blast. I had fun with it. And that's my thoughts on it overall. If you haven't seen it, now's the time. Check it out. I do recommend it. Check it out. It'll kill some time during quarantine. It's a good watch, especially if you're a DC fan. I think it's a good DC film. I like it. that's my thoughts. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Let's carry on the conversation after this down in the comments, and that'll be it for today, guys. Just take care, be safe, and again, I'm going to include their link to this direct relief down in the description of this video as well. So be sure to check that out, and stay safe out there, stay cautious, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.